over a 7 at one point. So we have had.
And there it is right now.
Okay, so there it is right now, 7.3 on the tornado indicator, not moving fast. Only moving east at about 20 miles per hour. The good news with that movement east at 20 is that you, like I said, if you're in one of those towns that called out and in a mobile home, you have time to go to a sturdy structure if you know where to go. And hopefully you do by now, and if not, think about it for next time as this moves into, moves through East Arkansas. We really believe that the sun is set now, and the longer we get past sunset, the better the chances are of it weakening. But it's still holding strong, and our rotation detector here is definitely detecting rotation right just south of Brinkley. Again, this is I-40 right here, just to give you a perspective of exactly where we are. But Trevor has circled that. And actually, Trevor, that lines up with the radar, too, that radar reflectivity curve there. If there is a tornado, it's going to be just south of I-40 right now, just south of Brinkley, headed to the east. And the storm is not just going to die, but it is showing signs of rotation. And I did notice there was a couple of cells earlier in Arkansas that cycled up. In other words, they strengthened rapidly, and then they weakened a bit. But this one is certainly holding together. And with that tornado number you just saw of a 7.4, very indicative. And also, look, we had a funnel reported. So we at least had that, and I'm sure that went into consideration as to why this warning was issued. But to give you a perspective, here's Wynne, Arkansas, Forest City, Marianna, Metro Memphis right here, and West Memphis. On this current track, though, it's got a slight jog to the southeast, which is interesting here. But we've got to watch this carefully. Sometimes these things, they can change direction, and if it started going east, that would put part of the metro area in play, especially DeSoto County and southern Crittenden County. Not saying that's going to happen, but it is a possibility. Hopefully this will weaken over the next hour. But Marianna, you are, right in the, you've got plenty of time, actually. Here's Marianna right here, so you have plenty of time, but that storm is definitely headed your way, and you need to take action if you live in a mobile home in or near Marianna. You've got time, no need to panic, but if you know where a sturdy structure is closest to your house, I would advise that you go there at this point, but simply because you have time. The storm is moving slowly. Earlier this year, we had these cells moving 50, 60 miles an hour. These are moving at about 20 to 25 miles per hour, a little bit different situation. And so having better lead time, certainly a good thing here in this case. But that is the warning right here. Metro Memphis is here, just to give you an idea of exactly where we are in Arkansas. Trevor's zooming in here. It does look like Forest City, it's going to stay just to your south unless it changes direction. We believe that there's a tornado, it's going to be right in here south of Wheatley, Arkansas, and just to the east of Brinkley. Probably right in here at Morrow. You must go to your safe spot now. Take action. Again, not trying to freak you out, but you really need to listen to us. Hopefully, we will continue to see a weakening trend, but with that funnel being sighted, I'm sure that went into consideration of issuing this warning. But right here, it's not just extremely impressive, but it is enough, and especially with the funnel being sighted, to certainly take this seriously. Any tornado warning needs to be taken seriously. And again, hopefully this will weaken, but for right now, an active tornado warning for Lee in St. Francis County.
That's until 8:30. Until
8:30. And it is a rather long warning, and the reason for that is just simply because the cells are moving slowly. So these warnings are going to be long because the storms aren't moving very fast, and that is why that it goes all the way to 8:30. Hopefully by then, once this thunderstorm that is producing a tornado gets up to the edge of the warning closer to Marianna, we're going to watch it closely, see if there's a weakening trend. All the models and indications are, look, from about past 9 o'clock, things are really going to weaken, maybe even sooner than that. But right now, this is not not weak. It is, yeah, go ahead, Trevor.
New report of a funnel cloud near Wheatley, Arkansas along Highway 78. So
Okay.
that's going to be now into St. Francis County, kind of just in the meat of the storm there. So that goes along with what we had originally, the funnel cloud near Brinkley, now over Wheatley, Arkansas. That's from law enforcement sources.
Law enforcement. Okay, so we have, maybe we could, in a moment too, whenever you get a chance, you don't have to do it right now, but the sheer path is oftentimes, and again, I don't want to get too technical with you here, but this is oftentimes a good indication of a storm's history, and it's important to know the storm's history because we can know how strong it is. You see this bright, this red color here, that indicates a lot of rotation. Now, this also is indicative of the path of the storm, and it gives us a better idea of where it's going. One good thing I can tell you, you see all this red here, that's high levels of rotation. Well, you don't see as much red in the warning currently, at least. It's a downward trend from BB, Arkansas, to where it is now. But here's the deal. Sometimes when storms weaken, they can actually drop. That's when they can drop tornadoes out of the sky. No confirmed tornado yet. We do have confirmation from law enforcement of a funnel cloud near Brinkley, Arkansas. And this is why the warning is drawn the way it is, because look how the storm has traveled. And that's why they have the warning really moving toward the east-southeast right now at a very slow clip. So Mariana, you have time. Morrow, you need to be in your place of safety right now. Like we said, please don't try to go find the tornado or go anywhere near windows. We want to make sure you cover your head because oftentimes that is how people get hurt, head injuries. And that's why we say stay away from windows and flying glass. So here is our absolute freshest track for you here. And here we go. South Plains at 8:07. Again, here's the good news with this. No need to panic and freak out because you do have time, but we do want you to listen to what we're saying so you can stay safe. Morrow, you're right in the path of this. You've got about 15 minutes or so. Oak Forest at 8:20, Smith Corner at 8:21, Wester at 8:25, Felton at 8:35, and Wrightland at 8:36. So again, a lot of lead time here. Mariana, you need to pay attention to us. You need to stay with us because in less than an hour, if this storm holds together, you are going to be in the path. So that is the most accurate track here, exact track, Trevor, I would say, because it's right along the leading edge of where the rotation is right now. So this is a very accurate storm track of where this is going. Lee, St. Francis County, if you're just tuning in to us, tornado warning has been issued by the National Weather Service, and that's why we're on the air bringing you wall-to-wall coverage. It's been a busy April, hasn't it? So maybe May won't be as bad. But we're still obviously in the heart of severe weather season and tracking a really, really nasty storm that is moving through Arkansas. Right now, this is about the only one. We do expect more to develop tonight. But I really believe that our tornado threat is going to be over the next hour to maybe hour and a half. I can't say that for certain, but all the indications are just the stuff that I've looked at anyway today, that the tornado threat is not going to go deep into the night. Still a threat for severe thunderstorms in metro Memphis later tonight. And of course, a lot of people are outside. But I think the worst of the weather is going to be over the next hour with this tornado warned storm here in Lee and St. Francis County. Again, I-40 right here. So if there is a tornado, it's probably just south of I-40. I promise you, you don't want to be driving west into Arkansas from West Tennessee, or if you're coming up from Mississippi as well, we don't want you crossing the bridge going over I-40 into Arkansas because you're going to run into trouble. Trevor?
John, I was just going to mention, first of all, we have had some reports of hail with this storm as it moved through other portions of Arkansas. But something to mention is even if this storm comes, a little bit more to the south of Memphis, maybe impacts places like DeSoto County, South Haven, Hernando, that is probably still going to be within range to have lightning close enough to Music Fest to have to shut that down, to be honest with you. Just to take a look at the amount of lightning we have right now, 133 strikes of lightning in the last 30 minutes with this storm. And it does, to me at least, look like it might stay to the south of the city of Memphis proper, at least the worst of it. You know, it's going to kind of do a path somewhat like this right into DeSoto County with the heavy rain and the lightning. But that lightning is going to be close enough to the fairgrounds that by 10 o'clock, 10:30, we might have to be talking about, you know, sheltering in place at Music Fest. Also, new report, I mentioned the hail. Pea-sized hail over Wheatley now. So once again, this storm, even if it's not producing a tornado, has a good possibility to be producing some hail, and that it is as it moves off to the east. But of course, right now, our biggest concern is the potential of a tornado, not confirmed, but there are signs of rotation on the radar. That is why that tornado warning has been issued.
Yeah, definitely. Once you've got 2 reports of a funnel cloud, and the very latest coming from law enforcement, you know, we have to take this very seriously, and you just need to go to your place of shelter and stay there. We'll let you know when it's okay and when you can come out, but this storm still has some nasty characteristics, and again, recent reports of funnel clouds from law enforcement. So we know that if it is not producing a tornado, it is trying to produce a tornado. Again, I think if there is a tornado on the ground, Brinkley, it's going to be just east of you. These storms, unlike you know, a lot of the outbreaks we've had in April, they're moving slowly. That is not surprising. It tends to happen as you get further and deeper into the severe weather season, especially as you get closer to May. Storms tend to slow down. They don't have the upper level winds that are as fast as they do in mid-April. Generally speaking, anyway. It's not always the case, but I think that's what's happening this time. And sometimes at night, we will get what is called a low-level jet. Well, what the heck does that mean? It's basically winds just above ground level that strengthen after the sun sets. I don't think that's going to happen with this particular situation. Just going back to the ones that we've had earlier this year in April, we did have that. We don't have that tonight, so that's good. But still a very healthy storm, tornado-warned storm. If you're just joining us, that's why we're on the air. You can see Brinkley here. This is Brinkley, Arkansas, and the worst of it is east of you. Still nasty weather, don't get me wrong. And as Trevor mentioned, even though there's no active warning or watch for areas east of the Mississippi River, unless that has been upgraded, Trevor. There's going to be some lightning in and near the area, and that's something to point out. If you know somebody that's at Music Fest or outside, there's not just Music Fest. There's a lot going on in the city this weekend, and all of the Mid-South really. But Metro Memphis, shoot a text, call, just let them know, hey, pay attention. Trevor?
Hey, John, we've got a storm chaser on this storm. Let's take this feed. This is from Wheatley, I believe. Of course, professional storm chasers out here doing this. And look at this, some lightning lighting up the cloud base there. And you can kind of see that is a nasty storm, nasty clouds when the lightning shines. You see, look at that. You see it's kind of hanging low a little bit. That's probably what we would call a wall cloud, and that's just an area that is rotating under the storm. So it doesn't look to me from that view that we had a tornado, which is great news, but to see that cloud base a little bit lower to the ground is a sign that the storm still has energy and is still trying to spin at some rate. I will say there is some good news in that as the storm moves to the east, as John said, we are going to see the ingredients, if you will, weaken. So once this storm gets to Memphis, the ingredients are not going to be as good for the storm to continue to be as strong. Law enforcement are reporting cloud rotation near Goodwin, Arkansas in St. Francis County, which is probably just what we were showing you. I don't know if we've still got that video, if we can take that again.
Yeah, let's go back to that.
What we were looking at is probably what this law enforcement agency is reporting. Again, this is near Wheatley, Arkansas, probably along Highway 70 or maybe even I-40. And again, I know it's hard to see. There's a lot of lightning, though, helping us to kind of get a view of what might be going on. But definitely looks to me like a wall cloud, some sort of a nasty lowering of the cloud there. Doesn't look like a tornado at this moment, but it is a nasty storm regardless of if there's a tornado or not. We've got to be concerned about the hail, the lightning, the wind, and then on top of this, the possible tornado and possible rotation. So that's something we're keeping an eye on. Again, what you were looking at was just over Wheatley, Arkansas. And it looks like, according to this law enforcement agency, it seems like it's following up Highway 70. So that would put it, eventually into southern St. Francis County and northern portions of Lee County. Look at that lightning bolt. You see that? That was kind of crazy. And that goes to show you this is what we're going to have to deal with in the Memphis area when this storm gets close. Even if the worst of the storm misses Memphis, they're not going to let Beale Street Music Fest go on with lightning like that. So we're talking about in the next hour and a half to 2 hours, maybe 2.5, that if this storm holds its current intensity, we might have to put a pause on things at the fairgrounds because that is completely unsafe. And the people there know that. They've got meteorologists there watching this carefully, and they will easily put a stop to things if they believe that anybody could be in danger with lightning. But again, rotation, lowering clouds near Wheatley, Arkansas, nothing confirmed on the ground, but a nasty storm regardless, John.
Yeah, no doubt. And the fact that we actually have a spotter on that is so helpful. Trevor, if you don't mind, if you just take a note of, write down his name. But yes, the fact that we have a spotter on it, law enforcement has seen a funnel, and as Trevor said, lowering of the cloud base is what happens sometimes when storms actually produce a tornado. Still a healthy number, tornado. Well, hey, we like seeing that trend. It was over a 7. I don't know, 20 minutes ago or so. Now it's down to a 3.3. These things can go up and down in intensity, though. So just because it's going down doesn't mean like the tornado's gone all of a sudden. We don't have confirmation of a touchdown. We do have funnel, a couple of reports of funnel clouds being sighted in this area and some hail as well. But maybe, just maybe, the storm is stretching out. And that actually would be a good thing. Still, though, a very impressive hook echo. That's where we look when we're just looking at the radar itself. There is a hook echo, and there's a lot of lightning on the part of the storm that indicates where a potential tornado would be. And this makes sense why it would be right in there. Active tornado warning. Yeah.
I was just going to mention the lightning's going up. And that's something we normally look at for a storm to intensify. It's not going to have much more energy left. The sun has set, and that's going to slowly dwindle down the amount of energy this storm has available. But to see it ticking up a little bit shows me that this storm might not be done yet. 239 strikes of lightning in the last 30 minutes. Also, update from the National Weather Service. I told you at 6 o'clock we had that watch in effect for eastern Arkansas. And I thought it would have to be extended. That's exactly what they're going to do. They're on a conference call now working on getting that severe thunderstorm watch extended into northern Mississippi, probably for this exact storm, because even if the tornado threat decreases, which we think it will, there's still going to be a lingering concern of hail, heavy rain, gusty winds, and a ton of lightning. Again, look at that, 246 strikes of lightning. And I want to measure out here, just to give you an idea, that lightning is about 50 miles away from the fairgrounds, from where Music Fest is currently happening. I believe a lot of the headliners are taking the stage around 10:35, 10:15, somewhere around there. So this might be a problem for those headliners. Again, it does look like the worst, the heaviest of this storm is going to stay south of the city of Memphis, but the lightning could be close enough that they're probably still going to have to shut things down, at least for a period of time. If you're just joining us, I want to reset everything and let you know we have a tornado warning that is in effect for Lee and St. Francis County in Arkansas until 8:30 p.m. We've had reports of funnel clouds, some hail, a lot of lightning over there near Wheatley, Arkansas, approaching Forest City and Marianna. This storm, if it holds together, would eventually be in the southern portion of the Memphis metro area, DeSoto County, Tunica County. You're going to get in on some of this storm activity with the heavy rain and the hail and the lightning, hopefully not the tornado threat. It does look like the worst of this storm is going to stay south of Memphis, but lightning still could be a concern. And as of right now, this is our only storm we're worried about. I know a lot of folks are going to be asking, what about me? What about me? What about me? Right now, our only concern is Lee and St. Francis County in Arkansas with this tornado warning that continues until 8:30.
Yeah, and I'm just looking at some of the data from the Storm Prediction Center also, and this is the most favored area right now of tornado development. So it's really not a surprise looking at some of the data from the Storm Prediction Center of where this storm is. And the further east you go, the parameters aren't as high, but look, it doesn't matter. Look, there was a lot of sunshine today. A few sprinkles in the metro area, but not enough to just zap all the energy out of the atmosphere. And regardless of if it's a tornado or not, it's still going to be a problem, again, as it moves into metropolitan Memphis. A lot of lightning, as Trevor said. That's one thing that we will be watching. That continues to tick up. So it's not like it's magic when the sun sets, storms just start to die immediately. I know we oftentimes refer to the sun setting, but especially the deeper into the season you get, they can still hold themselves together for hours after the sun sets. So there's nothing magical about it, but it's just generally the trend, and we certainly hope that is the case. But that is a nasty looking severe thunderstorm. And again, just this cell alone, folks, has almost 300 strikes of lightning. That's a lot. And that, Trevor, that is, like you said, that's ticked up a lot since we went on the air. I believe it was just under 150 at one point. And to see it tick up like that, yeah, let's zoom into that.
I wanted to look at this because the Weather Service is saying over near New Salem, Arkansas, in Lee County, that rotation could be tightening up a little bit. And I think it's this area over Morrow that they're talking about.
Yeah, I think you're exactly right. This is where that's where the circulation seems to be right now. Again, all these flashing lightning strikes that you see. This is a lot of lightning. I-40 here, Brinkley, the famous wedding dress location where so many people from here go to get their wedding dresses. Just to give you a perspective, Brinkley, Arkansas. And Morrow right here. Brinkley, you're out of the woods as far as a tornado goes. Still a strong thunderstorm over you, but it looks like the tornado threat is right over Morrow. And look, if you live in Morrow, you need to be in your safe spot right now, and you need to stay there. We'll let you know when it's safe to come out. This warning is until 8:30, so we've got another 20 minutes. And really, there's no, there's no signs that it's weakening and that this warning may be canceled early. The question is, will it be extended? Just to give our booth a heads up. And for our digital team, again, tornado warning until 8:30 for Lee and St. Francis County in East Arkansas. So we're most likely going to be on the air until at least then. Can we go back to that storm chaser video? If you have the stream up, Booth, go ahead and take that just so we can get another look.
This is Eric Corin.
Okay.
Eric Corin is the storm chaser here.
All right, perfect. So let's keep this up, Booth. Also make sure if we're not rolling on this, we need to be. It's so good to be able to go back and analyze events. In fact, we just had a meeting yesterday about some of our severe weather coverage, and we're constantly trying to improve it for you. So it's helpful to have video. And as we're seeing the lightning flash, not seeing. No, can't see anything right now. That's good. We don't want to. But it is so helpful. A couple of things with this storm, that we have a chaser on it, and that we have law enforcement that has said they've seen a funnel. This is another problem, folks. At night, this is why it's so dangerous at night to have nighttime tornadoes. Excuse me. The only way you can see them is if the lightning flashes. And that's why we're staying on this video, this live stream. We have a chaser in Arkansas on this storm. And if he sees something, believe me, he will report it. And obviously, if we see something, we'll let you know. But it is great, an excellent tool to have. That live video, live chasers, we're the only ones in the market to bring you this, and it's very helpful to have this partnership with the Chaser Network here, to have that partnership. It's just invaluable coverage. It differentiates us and allows us to bring you that information. So it's great to have that technology. And we want to say thank you to all of our storm chasers who do this and put their lives at risk and in danger to help keep us safe. So one point just to pass along, again, I know we've said it before, but do not do this. This is a professional trained spotter that has had extensive meteorology classes and training, and it is not advised at all to try to go find it. In fact, don't even go try to look at it outside your home in Morrow, Arkansas, because you might not be able to see it, and it could be right on your doorstep. Not trying to freak you out, just trying to make sure you stay safe. So the absolute latest storm track here, Oak Forest at 821. Again, the one good thing about this perhaps tornado, we know funnel at least, is the fact that we do have lead times. The storm is moving so slow that at least we've got some lead times to let you know when it's going to be at your house. Wester at 826. Again, a lot of lead time. If I call your town and you live in a mobile home and you have a sturdy shelter about 5 minutes from where you are, 5 to 10 minutes, and I call your town, and if you know where to go, we are really urging you to do so. Wrightland at 835. So again, you do have some time. Mariana at 842. We've been telling you you're in the path of this. So you need to stay with us because this tornado warned storm has not shown any signs of weakening. So Mariana, you need to stay with us. Scott Valley, again, all these places that I'm calling out, if you're in a mobile home, you need to think about getting to a sturdy structure and letting this storm pass over you while you're in that structure so you make sure and stay safe. So that is our most up-to-date storm track. Here's Mariana right here. The Mississippi River is right here, just to give you a perspective. Metro Memphis is right here. And we do expect further development tonight. I do think the greatest tornado threat is going to be with this storm here. Because, I mean, unless you're seeing something, Trevor, on a wide view of something else developing.
I think this might be the only game in town, which is some good news and bad news. The good news is there's only that one. The bad news is it's still going to impact somebody. But I will say this. I haven't gotten word from the Weather Service, but the way that this thing is looking and the reports that we've gotten of funnel clouds and low-hanging clouds over Morrow and Palestine and Wheatley, I cannot imagine that they would not extend this tornado warning. Right now, Mariana, not in the warning, but I would be shocked if they did not. Something would really have to change here for them to not extend this warning, and that could also impact portions of then northern Tunica County.
Let's go back to that video. Let's go back to the chaser video. Just got a report from him of a rotating funnel, and it was seen via the lightning flashes, and he is on it. He is on this storm. Believe me, he's in the perfect place. And this
this is Morrow, Arkansas.
Morrow, Arkansas. Just 2 minutes ago, 2 or 3 minutes ago, is when this report came in. Trevor, it looks like they also just extended the severe thunderstorm watch.
They did. I'll get that map for you in just a second.
Perfect. But what you're looking at, folks, is a storm chaser who is right on this storm. Yeah, there we go. Booth or graphics, if you could. I don't know if we can add St. Francis and Lee County in there for that active tornado warning until 8:30, but that would be helpful if you could. But we're staying on this because the chaser who is on this storm right now spotted a funnel just a few moments ago as the lightning flashes. That's about the only way you're going to see it. Unless, you know, it's into a populated area. But normally if there's a tornado going over a populated area, the power goes out, and that's still the only way to see it. This is flat land, so these are easier to see in East Arkansas, but obviously at night that's not the case. A very dangerous situation here, and one to take seriously, as that would be the third report of a funnel with this storm.
We've had funnels, low-hanging clouds, lots of reports of something going on. We've heard about everything except for a confirmed tornado on the ground, which is great news for now, but it's close enough that if we're hearing about funnel clouds, it's serious. We need to take it seriously. John, I've got that map for you, that severe thunderstorm watch, if we want to take that up.
Yeah, let's take that.
That was extended. I told you it was for eastern Arkansas, which it is until 11 p.m. That severe thunderstorm watch now includes northwest Mississippi as well as Shelby and Fayette counties in Tennessee until 2 a.m. Because we've still got the potential. Our main threat continues to be the damaging winds, the hail, the lightning. But for right now, we've still got a concern of a tornado. Now, I'm thinking and I'm hopeful, John, that once this thing gets a little closer to the river, our tornado threat, it's not going to be as big of a deal. But for right now, we've still got a threat of a tornado. Even when that's done, though, hail, wind, lightning, they're going to continue for several more hours.
For sure. And I mean, there's a reason why they issued that severe thunderstorm watch. But yes, there is a weather threat tonight. You need to be weather aware. And our digital team, if you could push out that severe thunderstorm watch, that would be helpful too, because there's just so many people outside tonight. Here's the latest. And look, we put these numbers on here, and they may not make sense to you, but I'll try to explain them and why we do that. The first one that is so important is our tornado index. And the scale goes from 0 to 10, 0 being the lowest threat, 10 being the highest. Right now it's at a 4. That's pretty healthy. It also shows large hail. These are data points that we look at that give us analysis and greater confidence or lesser confidence of if a tornado is on the ground. At one point, I can tell you it was at a 7. Now it's at a 4, but anything above a 4 is pretty significant. Also, you can see the movement east at 26, and basically the 100% hail saying, look, the storm's producing hail, 100% chance. We've got the confirmed reports of hail, and the severe hail is hail that is about 1.5 inches in hail size diameter. That may melt a little bit before it hits the ground, so it may not be 1.5 inches, but regardless, the point being, it's showing us that the storm has rotation, has hail, and has the potential of having a tornado on the ground. What we have now, this map, is our rotation detector map. And basically what we're doing is just looking at the different colors. And the green, you can see the green, that's the rotation. The red area is the area that is under the tornado warning. The worst of it has moved past Cotton Plant right now. This is still hugging I-40, just south of I-40, between Forest City and Marianna. So that's where, if there's a tornado, it is headed. And that is the greatest threat with this, is a tornado. Secondary threat, hail. You know, I don't know so much about gusty wind other than if it's actually the tornado itself. But hail's a threat. The biggest threat here is a tornado. We do believe that the later we go into the night, that severe thunderstorms are going to be the bigger threat, gusty winds and hail. And look, it's a good news that this was not extended as a tornado watch. Sometimes that happens. If there's like a confirmed tornado, sometimes they will issue a tornado watch just because of one thunderstorm. So it is encouraging that the National Weather Service, they have conference calls with Storm Prediction Center. They collaborate with one another, and then Storm Prediction Center will issue the watch. And the local National Weather Service, there's offices all over the country. Our local National Weather Service office will then decide if there needs to be warnings issued. And rightly so, when we've got 3 different reports of funnel clouds. And whoever's in the booth, just keep glancing at that storm video, the live chaser. And if you see anything interesting, feel free to pop it over Trevor at any time, and we'll take a look at it and let you know if we need to stay on it or not. What about let's go back to, just really quick, the velocity. I want to take a look at that. This is looking better. The colors aren't as bright, and there's more gray. In a situation like this, storm winds, what is that? Well, the green winds coming toward the radar. Red winds going away from the radar. So there's rotation in here. But what the classic tornado would be is bright reds against bright greens and something like that, but we're not seeing it. Gray in a situation like this is a good color. It means the winds aren't as strong. It also means there's separation between the winds going in different directions, and that's good. It's broader. It's not as tight. The colors, I guess to keep it as simple as possible, are looking better. They're not as bright, and the greens are farther away from the reds than they were 15 minutes, half an hour ago. But you got to keep in mind, just a few minutes ago, a storm spotter that is on this, a trained storm spotter, reported a funnel cloud. So just because the radar data is looking better doesn't mean we can let our guard down. This tornado warning goes for another 7 minutes. It will be interesting to see if they extend it. And like I said, or like Trevor said, I wouldn't be surprised if they do, just considering there have been 3 different funnel clouds with this storm. Not moving fast, only moving east, southeast, really more east now it looks like, at about 20 to 25 miles per hour. That's not very fast. Still a lot of energy. Trevor, here's one good thing, the lightning counter. It spiked up to what, almost 300?
300,
like
over
that?
300, yeah.
Quickly, within like 15 minutes. Now it has come down, and that is a number that we watch that is an important in a situation like this. It's just one way of measuring how strong a storm might be or how much energy it still has. This is, you know, it's going to fluctuate too. But in the last 15 to 20 minutes, that's how many strikes. But we were almost 300 strikes every 15 minutes about half an hour ago. So that is one encouraging sign. The radar is also an encouraging sign. The one thing that is not encouraging, as just minutes ago, a funnel cloud spotted by a trained weather spotter on the storm. So it still is very healthy, and you still have these purple colors too. That's indicative of a strong, severe thunderstorm. When you've got those purple colors, all the bright colors like that shows that a storm is strong. But it is trying to stretch out a little bit.
Yeah.
I think that may be the trend as we get later into the evening. These are going to try to become more linear, more connected, if you will, bless you, connected. And that is a good thing as far as tornadoes. It's not a good thing as far as lightning, and especially as these cells move toward a highly populated area, which they will be over the next hour to hour and a half. More of a gusty wind threat, but also, again, just can't emphasize enough with so many people being outside, lightning. It is a big danger, and with mass gatherings, you know, we're back to that now, a lot of people out, so it's something you need to follow. If you don't have our app, now's a good time to get it, and you can download it for free, ABC24, very helpful in a situation like this. And if you know somebody that's outside in Metro Memphis or anywhere in the Mid-South tonight, tell them to download the app. That can help them if they're at Music Fest right now. So pass that along to download our app to whoever you know is at Music Fest. Updated track for you. Here we go. Chickasaw Gardens, not in Memphis, but Arkansas.
Now that actually is, I did a very extended track on this just to get it out to Music Fest, just to give you the time.
10:03. Yes.
10 o'clock at Music Fest would be our current estimate for this lightning. I kind of did that behind your back there. But yeah, I just wanted to get you out to the Liberty Bowl. That would be 10 o'clock at Music Fest. And like we said, the worst of this storm looks like it's going to stay south of Memphis. We're looking more at DeSoto County. We can take this storm track, guys, if you want, just to show you what's going on here. So the worst of the storm, again, with the heavy rain, the lightning, would be in DeSoto County, Senatobia, northern Tunica, northern Tate County. But as I've been saying, the lightning might be close enough to impact Music Fest. And you see there, Music Fest, 10 p.m. So I believe it's lightning within, I don't know for sure, but I'm guessing if it's within 15 miles, they're going to have to shut everything down there. So that's why I just wanted to do that very extended track. Here's some new info coming in, and there's our new tornado warning. It's just for Lee County this time. 826, severe thunderstorm producing a tornado near New Salem, moving east at 20 miles an hour. So that is going to go until 9 p.m. now. Just as a note in the booth, we're going to be on until 9 o'clock now. This active tornado warning now includes Marianna, Arkansas until 9 p.m. That previous tornado warning that included parts of St. Francis County, it's going to be allowed to expire at 8:30. So in the next 2 or 3 minutes, the only tornado warning that we'll have will be for Lee County, which does include the city of Marianna, until 8:30. Again, tornado located near New Salem, at least a possible tornado right now. And again, that's moving to the east at about 20 miles an hour, so very, very slowly. But heads up, Marianna, now is your time to be in your safe place. I want to remind you of those tornado safety tips. If you are in that tornado warning, again, this is for Lee County in Arkansas. We want you on an interior room on the lowest floor of the building that you can get to. If you're in an apartment building, you got to make neighbors. You got to make friends with your neighbor. Go to your common area. Something. Nobody in that tornado warning in Lee County, Arkansas, should be on an upper floor. We need you on the lowest floor possible, away from windows. Put on your shoes. Stay away from windows. And if you're in a car or a mobile home, you got to find a better shelter. And just very quickly, I wanted to, let's see if I can do this here. I wanted to show you the best places to be if you are in this tornado warning. Let's see if I can get this here. I lost my cursor. There we go. And again, just to kind of give you a visual reference, the most interior room away from windows on the lowest floor. In this case, it would be your bathroom, your closet, somewhere. You basically want as many walls between you and the outside as possible. Yeah,
I mean, graphically, that's the easiest way to show it for you. Also, Trevor, lining up with what he was saying just a minute ago about timing it way out. What you timed out on the radar is what the high resolution models are showing. So we have pretty high confidence that look, that's going to be the time when and they are going to have to shut it down most likely. And you know, I mean, everybody says it always rains every year at Music Fest. No, it doesn't. Not every day, but yeah, this time we have one day of it. Yesterday we had nothing, and today we've had nothing. But looking ahead to the next hour and a half or so, it looks like that is going to be happening. Hopefully not, maybe not, but it's not a guarantee, but probably. So we're trying to give you a heads up here. Marianna, Arkansas, you need to be in your place of safety right now and remain there. We just showed you graphically where to be in the lowest point of whatever building you're in. Just whatever building you're in. We don't want you outside at all trying to find this thing, but whatever building you're in, the center part of that building, away from windows. I mean, we here at our television station have talked about where we would go if there is a tornado warning. You should be having the same discussions with people of the building that you're in now, whether it be an apartment complex, a home, a business, whatever. Have those discussions. Where's the best place to go to stay safe? And it's away from the outside of the building. It's in the centermost point of the building, and it's on the lowest level of the building. That's the safest place to be. And look, if you have obviously the storm shelter is the absolute safest place to be, but most people don't have those. But just make sure you're covering your head, you're away from windows, and you're going to be okay. Still to this point, keep in mind, we've got a trained live storm spotter. All the funnel cloud reports that we've had, and it's at least 3 of them, we still have not had a report of a confirmed tornado on the ground, but that could happen at any time. Marianna, the worst of this storm is getting close to you. We gave you a heads up a while back that it would be about 8:42. Well, we're getting closer to that 8:42. Still some weak rotation. The flashing red box that you're seeing, all those areas are under a tornado warning. The green that you're seeing is the rotation. And
it definitely doesn't look as strong.
No,
as
it does not. It does not. And that also with it makes sense too, because the tornado indicator number is down below a 4 now. We'll see if that's a trend. Hopefully so. About an hour ago, it was a 7. This is all making sense, really, because now we're, 45 minutes after sunset. So that, it's encouraging, and it's stretched out. It's not as isolated and tight and compact as it was in Arkansas, in central Arkansas. It did move into Lee and St. Francis counties and still had that same characteristic when it did. But now, not so much. And another thing, if you're watching programming and wondering why we're on, you're not hearing anything about your town and where you live, that's a good thing if we're not talking about your town. But there are towns that are that are in a very dangerous spot right now with a possible tornado on the ground and with confirmed funnel cloud sightings. So this is a serious situation, and there's an active tornado warning in the area, the flashing box, until 9 o'clock tonight. These storms are going to remain strong regardless I do think the tornado threat is going to start going down after 9 o'clock. It may already be doing so, but the deeper we get into the night, the lower the threat is going to be. But be weather alert, I guess, is what we're saying. Mariana, that's the highest populated area in the track. Like I said, you've got plenty of time, although your time is starting to run down now. We told you before 8 o'clock that it would be around 8:42, 8:47, so that's in line with this storm. It has held its slow movement. This is not a big cold front that's going to sweep through here, and then tomorrow it's going to be less humid, beautiful, and all that. It's basically going to be the same. These fronts this time of year start to stall out across the area. That's what's going to happen with this one. That's why these storms are moving slower than they did earlier in the month. Because fronts, they just start to move slower this time of year as we get into May. Other activity trying to develop out ahead of this cluster of storms in North Mississippi. There's Quitman County right there. Here's I-55 to give you a perspective. Sledge, Mississippi, we've got some fraternity brothers from there. And right as you get out of the Mississippi Delta, we're seeing one cell. This one is in the Delta, just north of Marks. Nothing severe right now, but certainly something to watch. And boy, still healthy. Don't get me wrong. This is still a very healthy cluster of storms and a very slow mover. So that's another thing to point out. There could be some flooding here because these are high amounts of rain rates, heavy rain. Look, let me just say that. Heavy rain coming down over the same areas over a prolonged period of time. So flooding is also a threat. And while you should not be driving, period, in a tornado warning, even later, as once the tornado warning is over, you got to be careful driving. Look at this, 2 inches of rain from this thunderstorm, and so that's why we're saying, look, there is the possibility of localized flooding with these numbers, and it's still going to be raining over these areas for a while. At least Mariana. Brinkley, your situation is improving a great deal now. I think you're safe as far as a tornado goes, but not safe to be outside because there's still lightning. And if you can hear thunder, it's too dangerous to be outside, just standing outside. Our threat tracker, which takes into account everything and kind of puts it together, a great tool that we have here. You can see there's hail, flooding, a possible tornado, and these bright purple colors. Those are some areas that we focus in on when we combine all the threats together. And that's nice about the threat tracker, is just everything together. It's not just a tornado. Yeah, Trevor.
I was going to say, if there is any good news, earlier tonight, that threat tracker was showing red, which is shear, as known as rotation in the storm. So anytime you have red on that product, it's where there's some type of rotation showing up. So the fact that, hail is still awful, don't get me wrong, but the one thing we don't want for sure is a tornado. And it's a good indication that that is starting to, diminish just a little bit. As John has been saying, really, I was looking at some data earlier that shows really the best ingredients are right along the rivers. So as this thing starts to cross into Mississippi, Tunica County, DeSoto County, you're still going to have to deal with the heavy rain, the thunder, the lightning. If you're trying to go to sleep early, you might be woken back up in Hernando or South Haven. But the tornado threat should be on a decline. And again, even better news, we've been tracking this for a while, and it does look like the worst of the storm is going to stay south of Memphis. The million-dollar question is, can the lightning stay far enough south of Memphis? If you want to take the radar, I'll kind of give you draw it out a little bit for you to show you where I think the storm is going to go. If we want to take this radar full, I could just give you an idea. It looks like really the worst of it is going to be over, there we go, over toward, southern DeSoto County, Tunica County, Arca-Butler, Tate County, those areas. That's where we're going to have the biggest concern for hail, heavy rain, wind, things like that. So you've got Music Fest that's going on up in, Midtown Memphis, right about there. So yes, it might not come a torrential downpour at Music Fest. It doesn't look like it's going to. There's going to be a little rain, but those lightning strikes can actually strike 10, 15 miles outside of the storm. We call it a bolt from the blue, where those tall lightning strikes literally just come out of the top of the storm cloud. And so even though this storm, the worst of the rain, is headed toward Hernando, you can have a lightning strike near the airport, and that's going to be close enough to cause them to shut that down. So within the next hour to hour and a half, we could be talking about some issues with safety at Music Fest that could require them to put a pause on things and move folks inside. I'm going to assume they would try to get everybody inside the Liberty Bowl, but I honestly do not have an idea. Above my pay grade, but they're definitely keeping a close eye on it. They actually have a team of meteorologists at Memphis in May that do this exact thing, and they make the official call. So they're trained, they know what they're doing, and believe me, they will do anything they can to keep those folks safe, and they're keeping an eye on it just like we are.
And also, there is still a very defined wall cloud, getting that information. There's a very defined wall cloud. So let me explain what that is. It's basically a cloud that is rotating just above the ground, and as long as that thing is rotating, it can put down a funnel, drop a funnel out of it, and if that funnel makes it all the way to the ground, then it's a tornado. So until it touches the ground, until that rotation touches the ground, it's a funnel cloud. But the wall cloud is still very well defined, and so we know the rotation is still there. Whether or not it's as strong as it was, probably not. But things can change so quickly, we can't just assume that it is going away. But again, that's the very latest information that I'm looking at. Mariana, this storm is right on top of you. Obviously, we're watching the metro area. These things are moving really, really slow. And so flooding is a threat that we should point out also. And look, across a good bit of our coverage area, nothing is going on right now. So it's just this cluster here. However, we are starting to see things develop, some cells in North Mississippi. So that's probably a trend. These are moving northeast while this cluster here is moving southeast. Good news is probably the worst is going to miss Metro Memphis. But I will say this, we could see some development on the northern side of this over the next hour, and that could affect Shelby County. So just because it's not on the radar right now, the models are still showing development along this slow-moving front. So we expect, now I'm not saying it's going to rain everywhere tonight, but there is going to be more activity on the radar than there is right now. That's why that severe thunderstorm watch was expanded east of the Mississippi River. It doesn't include our entire coverage area, but it does include a good bit of it. And you say, well, a severe thunderstorm watch, we're in a tornado warning. Why is it not a tornado watch? This is a very isolated cell. This is not like we're expecting all over the area a bunch of warnings tonight. This has been with one cell, and we also believe the rotation is going to weaken with time. And that's why this severe thunderstorm watch was issued. And it does include Shelby County, a good bit of North Mississippi, not all, but a good bit. But in Tennessee, just Shelby and Fayette. And then areas in northeast Arkansas, where to be honest with you, I thought the higher chance of a tornado would be right in here today. But, you know, several counties south is where we saw this rotation. Yeah, Trevor.
They're going to issue a severe thunderstorm warning now for Lee and St. Francis counties, which is great news. If they are issuing a severe thunderstorm warning, it means the tornado threat is decreasing. They're not as confident in issuing another tornado warning. So you see that new warning. This is actually going to go for Lee and St. Francis counties until 9:30. This is actually issued for wind and hail. So wind gusts of 60 miles an hour possible and hail of 1 inch. And this is, it looks like it could mainly affect the northern portion of Mariana, you know, between Mariana and Forest City, going into southern portions of St. Francis County. Okay, let's see what they're saying. All right, so here's the update, and this is going to be a little bit confusing. It was a little confusing for me, so stick with me. So this is the update. A tornado warning continues for this storm over Mariana. Possible rotation there. They've issued a thunderstorm warning for this storm that is back near Wheatley, moving off to the east. That is the storm. Let's call it storm number 1 with the tornado and storm number 2 with the hail. Storm number 2 is producing hail. Storm number 1 is also producing hail, but could also be producing a tornado. So that's the update from the Weather Service. That's why they've issued that severe thunderstorm warning. Both of these storms are capable of producing wind and hail. One of them, the one near Mariana, could be producing a tornado right now. So that severe thunderstorm warning goes until 9:30.
Yeah, and it looks like that particular part of the storm, it is confusing. Well, good explanation, Trevor. But yeah, that part of the storm is going northeast, that severe thunderstorm warning. So that's why you see this yellow box, this going this way. I know it's confusing. It is. The warning system is still being updated, and believe me, I think you were part of a study about improving our warning system. So that's coming down the road because we already know it's confusing. But tornado warning for this right here, this is our greatest concern at the moment around Mariana, Arkansas, just to the north of Mariana, Arkansas, where there is a potential tornado. There is a rotating wall cloud, which means wall clouds, that's oftentimes how they start out. You see a rotating wall cloud. Then you see a funnel cloud come down, and there have been 3 separate sightings tonight of a funnel cloud. So they haven't, not to our knowledge anyway, made it to the ground, and we hope that continues to be the case and the trend. And if this storm here weakens and the rotation continues to weaken a bit, they may actually cancel the tornado warning. They would leave this severe thunderstorm warning. But again, it's going to be getting closer to the metro area, the closer we get to 10 o'clock. And, you know, headliners playing. So it's something to pay attention to for sure. And like I said, if you don't, or if you know somebody, your kids out at Music Fest or friends, send them a text. Just, hey, look, there's probably going to be some storms coming in about an hour to an hour and a half. And so think about what you're going to do. Let me get out of the way here so you can see our app. Send them a text to download our app. It's easy. It's free. ABC24. And that way they can stay weather aware and stay safe. So again, you can get it on the App Store, Google Play Store, and there are no strings attached. And if you don't have it yourself, it's very helpful too. I use it when I'm not around computers and everything, got my cell phone. I use our app. It's very helpful. And the lightning is still healthy at 156 strikes. And there's still energy out here. There's going to be energy as long as if it hasn't rained where you are today, there's energy where you are. And these storms are feeding off that right now. Wrightland, Arkansas, we want you to be in your safe spot right now. Because if there is a tornado, it's going to be right here. I still am encouraged by the radar. I'm also encouraged, you say encouraged, I'm encouraged by the velocity when we looked at the velocity. I'm also encouraged by the fact that there hasn't been a funnel cloud reported. The longer we can go without another funnel cloud being reported, the better off we are. Rotating wall cloud better than a funnel cloud. Trevor.
And that's what we just got a report of, a rotating wall cloud between Mariana and LaGrange on Highway 1. And I was trying to get LaGrange to pop up on the map. I'm going to assume that's pretty close to Canaan, Wrightland areas, to the north of Mariana. So probably somewhere between Mariana and Forest City. We've got another report of a wall cloud, which again, a very sciencey term. It's just an area of rotation that is almost the precursor to a funnel cloud. So you get the wall cloud, then you get the funnel cloud, then you get the tornado. We're kind of at stage 1 right now. We haven't progressed much further than that. We did have a funnel cloud report earlier, but no tornadoes confirmed, which is great news. And as we've been saying, this storm is moving into an environment that is not as favorable for tornadoes. You're still going to get the wind, you're still going to get the hail, the lightning. I think we can handle that a little better than we can handle a tornado. And they say they're going to keep another eye on this. They're going to wait about 3 or 4 minutes, and if the storm continues to look this way, they're going to cancel that tornado warning, which means we are going to be able to go off the air here in just a little bit. So a heads up to the booth, not right now, but if this is canceled, we will be letting you go. Of course, we start our newscast on Channel 30 at 9 o'clock, so if you want more info, you can join us there. But John, just what you were saying, it's a good sign. The storm does not possess as many characteristics of a tornado as it did a little bit ago. Still a strong storm, just doesn't look like it's producing a tornado right now.
Yeah, thank goodness, and let's hope this trend holds. I really believe it will. Trevor and I both believe that the trend is going down for tornado to form, touchdown, stay on the ground for a long time. We're not out of it, don't get me wrong, but the trend for that is going. The threat for severe weather is not going away quickly because we've got this slow-moving front, but hopefully the tornado threat is here. Again, gray is good. Think of it that way. Gray color, good color, meaning lower wind speeds and meaning not much rotation. Although still right here, still seeing some broad but weak rotation, and it doesn't take much. When we've had funnel clouds reported sighted, we've got a rotating wall cloud. They can still drop in a hurry. The trend is good, but we can't let our guard down. Like Weather Service is going to wait another scan when we get the latest information in. Now, I do see a yellow flashing lightning symbol here. That is the stronger lightning, and that's the lightning that comes down to the ground, hits the ground. There's all kinds of cloud-to-cloud lightning going on, but anytime you see the yellow, that indicates, look, it's a lightning that is coming all the way to the ground and striking something. So anytime you've got that, you still know that the storm is healthy. And these aren't just going to go away as we're now past sunset, thankfully. But the tornado threat, while it won't go away completely, it will go down. You could still have tornadoes in a severe thunderstorm watch. But it's just the reason it's not a tornado watch is because we don't expect that threat to be high. Thankfully, we have only had this one cell. And thankfully, we haven't had reports of a touchdown. And I'm pretty confident in saying that. Well, I know we haven't had reports, but I'm pretty confident that a tornado, maybe never even came down, which is great. So that's good. And we've got a live storm spotter on there, and we want to thank him so much for helping keep us safe, because the more we know, the more you know, and the safer we can all be. So did they, is it officially canceled, or
they haven't put out the bulletin yet, but they're saying that the rotation is continuing to weaken, and I assume there's the cancellation. So that warning should be dropping off in just a couple of seconds. The severe thunderstorm warning for this storm continues. Don't get me wrong, just because the tornado warning is now canceled does not mean that the storm is just gone. We've still got a ton of lightning, heavy rain, gusty winds. That's going to be an issue for northern Tunica County. Casinos, heads up. Hernando, South Haven, DeSoto County. Even Memphis could get in on some of the thunder and lightning, which of course could cause a concern for Music Fest. But as of right now, no tornado warning. And John, I think we're in that point now where the tornado threat, I don't want to jinx it, but I think we're in good shape in terms of a tornado threat. But the storms are going to continue off and on all night.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with you. 100% agree with you. So what we're going to do is, for both stations, LMT, our CW30 station, and ABC24, for meteorologist Trevor Burchett,